Hi guys from around the world and English learners. Today we're going to learn about action chunks. And in today's video, we're going to run through what are action chunks, how they're different to the verb table, how you can learn action chunks, maybe some things to be aware of with action chunks. Also, the relationship between grammar chunks and action chunks. And yeah, that's about basically it. So let's jump right in. Action, action, action. Action, action, action. Okay, here we are. What are action chunks? Okay, so first of all, you're probably familiar with the verb table. So here's a verb table for some irregular verbs. So you've got eat, ate, eaten, have, had, go, went, been, gone. Let's see how action chunks are different. Okay, so the first difference is that instead of having 3 types, we have 4 types. And we use much simpler vocabulary. So this the present simple, type 2 for the past simple, and type 3 for the past participle. And the ing form, we call it type 4. And we have a type 4 because it's incredibly common in English. And if you combine it with other chunks in language, we use it a lot. So that's why we got type 4. And I will illustrate that point in more detail a few slides later. And the second difference is that instead of just having the verb, we have a chunk. So we have a few words that naturally go together. So eat breakfast, ate breakfast, eaten breakfast, eating breakfast, and so on. And why have type 4 here? So you've got eating breakfast, having a car, going on holiday, taking a photo. Why have type 4? Because it's super easy to remember and it's super common. It's super common in English. So here are some of the uses of type 4 in English. So she's always plus type 4. So she's always eating breakfast. Or she's always eating cakes. She's always having a car. It doesn't actually quite work with this one. So there are some verbs that don't work in all cases, and having a car, in this case, it doesn't work. But she's always going on holiday, possible. She's always taking a photo, or she's always taking photos, good use. Okay, they were going on holiday yesterday afternoon, possible. They were taking a photo yesterday afternoon, also possible, at 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm looking forward to. So this one can go with the ball. So I'm looking forward to having a car. Works perfectly well. I'm looking forward to going on holiday. So anything with ing goes with it. Derek enjoys having a car. Works. Derek enjoys eating breakfast. And we can put this type 4, this action chunk, we can put it at the start of a sentence. And it's basically a noun, like a table. So eating breakfast is fun. So eating breakfast is kind of like table or boy, girl, picture. That's how it works. Okay, how to learn chunks. So if you're learning action chunks, you could learn it like this. So I think first of all, you need to learn the type 1. Once you've got the type 1 under your belt, then you can just focus on type 2 and type 3, because the beauty of type 4 always the same, just ing on the verb. So you just need to concentrate on type 2 and type 4 for irregular verbs. So what are the missing ones? Okay, so ate breakfast, had a car. And type 3 for go on holiday, been on holiday or gone on holiday. So there's actually 2 possibilities with go. And taken a photo. Okay, you can do with regular verbs. like want, ask, cook, call, prepare. Type 2 and type 3 are the same in writing, but unfortunately in English, the pronunciation of these ed endings are different. So if it ends with a T or a D, like in want, you have this id sound, wanted. Wanted something to eat. Ask and cook have a sound on the end, so asked a question, cooked a meal for 5 people. And call and repair have this d sound, a D sound on the end. So that's just something to be aware of. So regular verbs are simpler because type 2 and 3 are the same, but you have to consider the pronunciation. So there's 3 different types for ed in English. Okay, grammar versus action chunks. Okay, so just a quick reminder, what are grammar chunks? There are things like I want to. Some people might say want to is strictly the grammar chunk. Okay, she's already. They're afraid of. It's easy to. I haven't something yet. I haven't action chunk yet. He was. And the relationship between grammar chunks and action chunks. Grammar chunks are stronger than action chunks. So grammar chunks, they determine which action chunk to use, whether it's a type 1, a type 2, type 3, or a type 4. So they determine that. So the grammar chunks are stronger. And we've got some examples here. So we're going to use the example eat breakfast. When the action chunk eats breakfast. So I want to always goes with type 1. So I want to eat breakfast. She's already, so it goes with the type 3, eaten breakfast. They were afraid of, and it goes with the type 4. They're afraid of eating breakfast. It's easy to eat breakfast. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. He was eating breakfast. Okay, and just to illustrate this point, that it's the grammar chunks that are stronger than the action chunks. If you change the time, the grammar chunks are the ones that change. And the action chunks will just stay the same in these cases. So I wanted to, put it into the past. I wanted to eat breakfast. She will have already eaten breakfast. So by the time we arrive at 10 o'clock, don't worry, she will have already eaten breakfast. They were afraid of eating breakfast. They're not afraid anymore. They can eat breakfast. Okay, it will be easy to eat breakfast. So the grammar chunk changes into the future here. I hadn't eaten breakfast yet. And he's eating breakfast, so he's doing it right now. Okay, so that was a quick introduction to action chunks and learning action chunks. Learning actions as chunks will really help because, for like, go for a walk. A lot of people, it would be expressed differently in their own language. But if you learn it as a chunk, then it's easier to come off your tongue when you speak. Okay, so that was action chunks, and it's very useful to learn action chunks, but also extremely useful to combine these action chunks with grammar chunks. That's where you really get an understanding of how English is structured and how it works. Anyway, that's enough for today. So have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, whatever time it is with you. Enjoy it. Until next time.